Hi everyone, and welcome back to Credible Perspectives. This season, we are discussing all things electric mobility, and our first guest is Miss Alice Ejiofor.
Yes,
I got that right?
Yes, you got it right.
She's currently the head of finance at Ebee and the assistant treasurer for the Electric Mobility Association of Kenya.
Yes,
I got that right.
You got that right.
Fantastic. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
How did you find yourself in the electric mobility world?
We found each other.
Tell us more.
Each other. I was already a finance professional, practicing finance for some few years. And at the point of application, for one, it was a blind application. However, once I found out the company, of course, I was excited, electric mobility. And at the time when I was joining it, there were not many players. Right now, we've grown a bit. So it was interesting to find out. And then over the interview, they kept asking me, can you ride a bicycle? And then I was like, yes, I can. Luckily, I can. I could. So that's how the journey began. And then from there came Electric Mobility Association of Kenya. And yeah, the rest followed through.
Okay. Tell us a bit about the Electric Mobility Association of Kenya.
So the Electric Mobility Association of Kenya was founded in 2022. They're founder members, but we've since grown from 8 companies to over 40 plus members, all in different categories. When I say categories, we have 2-wheelers, your bicycles, electric bicycles, 3-wheelers, bajajis, tuk-tuks, 4-wheelers, cars, buses, trucks. Yeah, mention it. We are hoping to get planes and everything soon.
So what does EMAK do?
Largely,
why does it exist?
Why does it exist? Largely because of the members. Of course, it's an association, so it's made up of member companies. But what does it do? We push for policy, advocacy, and engagement for electric mobility. We also have a lot of training, stakeholder management, just between the government and the electric mobility companies. And yeah, quite a bit more that follows through from there. Yeah.
Okay. So recently, by you, I mean EMAK, released a white paper modeling 3 government support scenarios for EV adoption.
Yes.
Could you walk us through the 3 scenarios and how government can support?
Okay. So thank you for that. For the white paper, there were 3 scenarios: low, medium, high.
Okay.
So low, we are saying if the government doesn't intervene in anything, so no policy, no financing, everything just stays as is. Well, right now, there's even some intervention. Everything stays as is. There's nothing that's happening. And when you look at the numbers, you're looking at a penetration rate that's much lower, almost the same level of penetration. And then there's medium, where we're saying government is coming through from a policy perspective, from a financing perspective, from different perspectives where there's government involvement. And then you see the numbers almost doubling. And then at high, literally it's almost looking like an exponential growth. So from the current 2%, 1% that we're seeing annually, it just suddenly spikes to literally think of something exponential, meaning you cannot predict the next year how far you will be. And so based on that, we know for a fact that it's important that we have the government support when it comes to this, largely because, again, it's electric. Start even with the electricity. Even electricity itself has always had government intervention, how it gets, how far it goes, and so even in mobility, we go to show that it's literally the same. Without government intervention, there will not be much progress. It will be a lot of member companies trying, failing, penetrating, but very marginally. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at.
And at what level, the low, medium, and high, should there be any intervention, do you think?
So let me get the question right. Should there be any intervention? Yes, there should be intervention. And largely because for the average person, Nairobi is amazing. Nairobi has right now maybe about 70 to 80% of their electric mobility. And so everyone is wondering why intervention. But think of a space like the heart of Kilifi, somewhere where the population is already low. Even if they have electricity, we're looking at infrastructure, we're looking at electricity connectivity, how reliable is it? We're looking at just penetration, even the fact that maybe tourism is larger there, so they do some things differently compared to Nairobi, where you can think of Uber Eats, you can think of things to do. So without government intervention, you find that, one, the connectivity we are speaking about won't probably be there, or at least not as reliable.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's there, it's for residential versus commercial, because that's also a conversation that comes in. How much electricity can we give you based on what you're doing? Think of it from now that's the electricity part. Think of it connectivity infrastructure. You have an amazing car, but there's no road to where you're going to. Or if there's a road, it doesn't have charging infrastructure and it's electric.
Yeah.
So just like a phone, if it dies, it's done for. So how do you tow? How do you push? So really, intervention is key.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've spoken about intervention from the government, and we know that there's a draft policy somewhere.
Yes.
Somewhere.
Yes.
Typical Kenyan style, it shall show up when it shows up. It shall be launched when it is launched. So in that policy, what were the areas of priority for EMAK? What did you guys really, really want to see?
So the draft national e-mobility policy.
Yes.
And funny enough, there's been a lot of work going into it. And I think that's one thing I'm appreciating as being part of an association, the work that really goes into all these draft regulations that we see. Our priority was, one, longevity and sustainability. And I say longevity and sustainability because a policy can also change. It's updated, just like the finance bill.
Yeah.
This year you have something, next year you can always remove, take away, add. So what the policy was focusing on was ensuring that, one, at a national level, whatever goals we commit to as a country, because you'll come to realize electric mobility is part of a bigger sustainability question that goes globally in terms of basically going green and everything. So at a national level, it started by highlighting basically what our targets, why are we entering into this policy. As an association, our thing is to ensure that, one, whatever we set at a national level, is it achievable? Is it doable? And then based on that, we've taken those targets and used them to now start pushing for the various advocacy initiatives. So if you're saying by 2030, for example, we are going to be at X penetration rate, we've already started focusing on, will we have enough electric capacity by that time? Will it be green capacity? What will the charging infrastructure look like at that time? So as members, what we've been doing is more or less sense checking and ensuring that we're preparing for the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is that going?
Great, actually. Honestly, great. Great. And it has so many players. So once you're done with the national part, you come and realize counties have actually taken it up.
Yeah.
And most counties now have their own mobility policy. And don't get me wrong, it's a bit slow, but the fact that there are actually counties that are taking it up means that the people who are determined, we shall not be left behind.
Yeah.
And so then people are moving around, planning their county spatial. So as you see, what most people see is the trees and the things in the middle of the road. Then they think, oh, the county is changing.
Yeah.
But what is actually happening is people are also taking up policies, changing the infrastructure, really altering a lot towards that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still on that policy conversation, in last year's finance bill that was since dropped, it had introduced some policy changes, in it that eventually, as it was dropped, may have favored or not favored you guys.
Yes.
To which divide did it fall?
At the onset, did not favor. And I'd say did not favor because there were all this reintroduction of taxes that we thought after 2023 we were done with. And that really opened our eyes to, again, the volatility of policy in this country, at least. And so it really... Yeah, the first one was just I did not favor.
Yeah.
And across different two-wheelers, three-wheelers, buses. Yeah. And then, the things that are common. If you touch battery, you've touched everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's electric. So everyone has a battery. So if you touch it, you introduce anything, everyone is crying. And then for the different levels, some are also guided by, for example, the East African Community Guidelines. So while you'd want to change them here, you find something like import duty is done at an East Africa level.
Yeah.
So there are things you can change, there are things you can't change. So there are others you're a bit more open to. So it started out from a no. Yeah.
And then?
A lot of work went in. Okay. That's what I'd say. Not that, first of all, we're grateful to the government for the current, hold order and just kind of, there are also things they really made better, much better after all the review and everything, but a lot of work went in. So for starters, for the members themselves, like I said, we have two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers.
Yeah.
Getting a unanimous voice. there are things that are easy, like battery. You touch, everyone cries. That one, if you touch, everyone can agree easily. But look at scenarios where it's maybe motorbikes are pushing for maybe a bit more, largely because more people have it versus a four-wheeler who might not have that power because they don't have the market share. So then a single voice is important, like a unanimous voice is important. That was the first thing. And then honestly, we had great players that really helped us in other ways. We had our tax and legal that came in and they were always there. Whenever government was meeting, they needed people to show up. They were there supporting us, advising us what is the best scenario. Because you also have to scenario map these things. You think in your mind, it's just 0%. And then you realize this one takes away from here.
Yeah.
So there's always a lot of scenario mapping and even just answering to the questions. Our development partners were handy. They really came in handy because of the government contacts. They had already worked on certain projects. Okay. So even when they're advising from an informative point that if you touch this is what you will foresee, at least from experience. And that really helped because also government is large. When we say government, people just think our president only.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there are committees, there's everything. It's so huge. So penetrating also policy and advocacy is not as straightforward. So having them assist at different levels, national level, county level, was very helpful. Yeah, okay. So it went well.
All right. So then after that, the country introduced, or rather ensured that registration fees for EVs remained VAT free.
Yes.
Is that still the scenario, the situation?
Yes, it's definitely lower.
Okay. So I want us to talk about finances a bit. Okay. Now that they're VAT free, are there other financial incentives that people who wish to own or who own EV vehicles, electric mobility, what other incentives would work?
So for starters, like I said, the policy did a lot already by the zero rating the VAT on a number of items that already reduced the price of the product. Something else was also that we've seen introduction of more affordable models, even launched by our honorable president.
Yeah.
And so that is already a start. There are definitely other taxes we're pushing for from an incentive perspective, just in terms of the import duties could definitely get lower. And as much as some items were zero rated, we're not zero rated across all products. So also other, like now the four-wheelers are looking into certain lower costs, just in terms of the taxes. So to that degree, yes, there's more that could be done. But also one thing on this other side of the user side, because sometimes we look at that side and one thing that also drives policy is adoption. Because sometimes when you're pushing for all these taxes, government is looking and it's like, only 2% have been, there's only 2%. So they're thinking, we're giving 2% and we're trying to grow it.
Yeah.
But when are we getting there, especially when you don't see it? So on this other side for adoption, the use of an electric mobility vehicle, whether bicycle, motorbike, bus, is cheaper day to day than your internal combustion vehicle. That one definitely. So you see the savings. The only thing is the capital input at the start is much higher.
Okay.
So two ways I look at it. Yes, we are always going to thank the government for what they've done so far and still push for more because there's still room for growth. But also from an adoption perspective, if you've never ridden an electric bicycle, an electric motorbike, a bus, a car, are you your suspect? First of all, we should get you on board. Because as long as you're not adopting, then our stories to the government are just stories. They remain stories. So also pushing from an adoption perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something you mentioned about initial investments.
Yes.
And being a bit difficult to penetrate. Do you have any ideas on how that can be managed?
So right now, what is actually happening is there is financing that's coming on board. And when I say financing, not necessarily traditional financing, we've seen banks being a bit squeamish, largely because it's a new industry, but also because of the volumes. So when I say volumes, of course, if we speak like, for example, an Uber initiative, there's a time where I think Suzuki Swift was the order of the day.
Yeah.
And so in terms of volumes, that kind of volume is what they're looking for, in terms of just having that huge volume coming in. But also, like the cost, so in terms of the volume, but then also they've been a different level of financier that has come in.
Okay.
So that when the banks didn't do it, you have all these other companies, M-Copper, to Credit, Jiwambe, Numida, Flashpesa, all these other players have come in to take part in the gap.
Okay.
And so we're still at an assessing stage of how it's working for the different people. Mogo has also been there. So we've really seen financing come on board. So I think for me, the push is more of making it more affordable.
Okay.
Of course, as long as the larger players are not there, the costing will always be a bit higher because then all these people are taking higher risk. So one thing for sure, more players on board and banks, let's just say the bigger tier banks to join in. And then devolve, and I don't know if we can say devolve in financing. So you find most of the financing is in Nairobi, Mombasa, a little bit Kisumu.
Cities.
Yeah, so someone in the village who actually could benefit from this, they don't have a microfinancer there, or the microfinancer is not willing to go there yet because they're still assessing risk. And that's where bringing in all these larger banks that are all over the country becomes critical.
Do you think, since you talked about the SWIFT and why at some point it was, do you think that then financing should also be categorized by the type of mobility? Should I use vehicles so that
mobility category?
Yeah, so that if it's a boda, that's a different category. If it's a car, 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler.
Here I'm stepping on dangerous waters. Let me first respond as Alice, as a finance professional. What I think that let the market play out as it should.
Okay.
And I say that because different financiers are focusing on different things. So you'll find one is focused on 2-wheelers, largely because they've experienced something maybe in India, or so them they know 2-wheelers is a sure bet. So if I force this person, for example, that if they come to my country, they have to allocate X percentage to, I have locked out a financier who could have funded easily a certain category. That's one. Two, in terms of goals, at corporate levels, people have, just the same way some people have their CSR initiatives, and they say, as we will fund schools, another one will say hospitals, another one will say same thing. Some people have put, let's say, electric mobility. And have more, and then also there's muscle power. So you'll find somebody, their financing proposal plan is in the billions. So they can do whatever they decide. Motor vehicles. And then you have other players, like we said, all these other players that are in the middle. And maybe they want to try out first with, all this. So I wouldn't really limit it per category. For now, being that it's an upcoming market, I would let things play out as they should.
Okay. That's Alice's opinion.
That's Alice's opinion. From an association opinion, definitely. We'd love some form of regulation, largely because we wouldn't want, at the end of the day, to just be a motorbike state, for example. We'd love to see also vehicles. We'd love to see more buses. And the thing about one bus can buy like 1,400 motorbikes, for example. So you can imagine, if we're looking at financing, how this person, 1,400 is probably what? A quarterly target. For this other person, it's literally just one bus. So you find without that regulation, some players might fall off.
Has any player attempted to do that of the 40?
At the moment, no. There's actually been, it's an open market. Everyone can, depending on what you negotiate and what you fund, people are trying out. And also because it's still a growing market, very relatively young, 3-4 years. So most players also didn't enter immediately. So you'll find most people are 1 year, 2 years in. So they're also understanding what category works for them and learning through. So at this point, nobody has really put a cap yet.
Okay. All right. Kenya has set an ambitious goal.
Yes.
That by end of this year, we should have about 5% EV penetration. Are we on the road to achieving that?
In certain categories, yes. In others, like I say, the capital investment is high. The funders are a bit squeamish. No. So it's both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which categories are
I'd say the two-wheelers are way on course.
Okay.
Largely because, like I said, also our honorable president launched something that made the plan more affordable.
Yeah.
So you'll find definitely for two-wheelers, we'll see greater uptake and much higher penetration. But then for four-wheelers, buses, we are seeing a lot of players coming into the market. So also more is coming up and more education. But again, because of the capital investment, maybe a bit of a slower penetration.
Okay.
Yeah.
What should our new target be, considering we're about to meet this one in certain ways?
So, okay, and then, our new targets. So let me start with, for me, I'd love to see this target, but then go to every county and feel the same level of penetration. Because this is now a national target.
Yeah.
If Nairobi hits it for the nation, we've hit it.
Yes.
But then I could go to, I don't know, Nakuru or Voi, and they'd be like, Miss J on a Gari Electric, For me, the first goal would be, after we've hit this one at a national level, let's go to county level and disburse it. So that when we say 5, it's the minimum.
Okay.
And just have that devolution, that's 1. 2, also working on infrastructure. When we think electric, most people just think number of vehicles, what most people don't count is the charging stations you need on your way, the mechanics, skills, expertise that you'll need. So to really see an uptake of electric mobility, also infrastructure, skills, a lot. So that when I say 5%, I can comfortably say, go to any Kenyan county. For a fact, you'll find a mechanic, you'll find an infrastructure within X kilometers.
Yeah.
You will find that now would be a very ambitious goal.
Okay. You've spoken about skills.
Yes.
And this is a very new market and very new, what should I call it? Invention, I guess.
Yes.
In Kenya especially.
Yes.
What is EMAK doing towards upskilling or reskilling or skilling?
Yes. So as an association, definitely we've been involved in the curriculum development for the different curriculums that have coming up. TVET educations, universities have been reaching out. And we have participated actively in terms of just ensuring that the curriculum is what exists. As individual companies, people have hired. And so you realize there's already a pool of people that's already doing quite a bit. And then now plus the skilling, like the university and everything, that's allowing people to really upskill for the future. So that has also been critical. Another thing is member education, basically, and awareness. So sometimes where we do our exhibitions, pulling together. So one of the members maybe is going to Naivasha. They would ask everyone, if you're up to it, see. And that awareness really goes a long way so that now people start planning for, when they ask you, where's the next available one, then that means you have to have a pool there. And then, of course, the expansion of the member companies. The more they go to other counties, they get the work done. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Speaking of awareness, there's something happening soon.
Yes.
Tell us more.
So we have a roundtable that's coming up. And this one is focused on financing.
Okay.
And so we're trying to see how do we get an uptake of electric mobility all through the country.
Okay.
Is it a financing issue? And if the answer is yes, we have all the players you can think of, literally all the players.
Yeah.
If it's a bank, a microfinance, a development partner, grants, funds, like all manner of partners are going to be there.
Okay.
And so for me, it's an exciting opportunity to look forward to it, to ask everybody to get excited about it as we do. We will be sharing on the EMAK platform, like on LinkedIn and our different social media platforms. We've shared the dates we've shared, which is 2nd October for now. And we've shared where it will be. You have to sign up though.
Okay.
Because with all this exciting news, people hear money. Money is money.
Money is money.
Money is money. So when people hear money, it's like, I can get a chunk. So please ensure that you register on the links. And we will be posting updates and summary of what was discussed and how people can plug into the different forms of financing that are going to be available.
All right. But beyond that, there's also an Africa e-mobility week coming up in Ethiopia as well.
And then that one is a bit further after we finish this one.
Then we go to Ethiopia.
Yes,
all roads lead to Ethiopia.
All roads lead to Ethiopia.
I love it. But is EMAK participating in the Ethiopia?
Heavily, yes. We cannot miss.
Okay.
We'll definitely be in Ethiopia. We are doing certain sessions ourselves because it's a week long and there are different forms of sessions. So EMAK will be there. As the council members, there will be people representing us and speaking on different things. Our members will be there. So we've already, aggregated our members and already booked the flights and everything. So we will also be there. And above all, what's interesting is everyone will be there because we are not just, when I say council members, that's Kenya. But then there's also the same in Uganda, there's Rwanda, Ethiopia. So everybody is aligned and ready to go to Ethiopia.
Good. I'm glad that you've raised that because now I want to ask you, should we harmonize as East Africa community, for instance, before we even expand to the larger Africa? Should we harmonize some of these policies, some of the incentives we've spoken about earlier, some of the taxes that we have when it comes to electric mobility?
This is one of those answers I will say yes and no. So as a company that is in, let's say, about 3 East African countries, we realize different countries have different social, cultural, economic habits.
Yes.
Some countries prefer to own their vehicles up front. So for them, financing is a big deal. But for others, they're more they've already given up on owning it. They are comfortable to rent it for forever. Others have higher earning capacities than others. So what you find is, and this, I know all the members who are there and are already in different East African countries can take it to the bank that not all models are working for all the countries in the same manner. And that is why harmonization, especially when something is a bit too young, is difficult. What I would urge is that all the countries develop their policies that work for them well and then find areas of synergy later. That way we avoid strangling any growing immobility in another country that maybe is not at the same level. Or better yet, also somebody else who's ahead of us, we're able to match up. So like a good example, Ethiopia has a cap on certain things that you can bring into the country in terms of electric mobility. In Kenya, if we tried that, it's neither here nor there. And that's why I said, allow everybody to
figure it out. Let's have a conversation much later. That makes sense. But what about when it comes to planning cities? You've spoken about spatial planning earlier. You mentioned it in passing. But what do you think? Should we consider electric mobility as we are planning our cities, our towns?
Yes, definitely. And like I said, the national mobility policy started at a high level. Then what counties did, they took it up. They've done their spatial plannings. They've started passing their own county regulations. And so that you find is going to be one of the things that is really going to play out. And I know even East Africa generally, everyone will end up catching up. So the thing is, as a country first, you can imagine one county will say we want infrastructure maybe within 10 kilometers, every 10 kilometers. Another will say every 7 kilometers. The requirements will be a bit different and even their planning of resources will be different. Same thing to buildings. There are people who are going to eventually start saying for every building, there must be at least one EV parking slot, for example. But others will be like 5 buildings can share a common parking space. Also because not all counties have the same resources. Some have more land than others. Others have more people than others. So you find even in terms of planning, that already is taking place, or at least it has started. People are thinking through what do we do? How many can we put it in a petrol station? How far the petrol stations? Is that the only place we can put charging stations? And all these synergies are coming up. So if it's already at a county level, you can imagine how varying. Take all your counties, you already have X number. Go to another country, same thing. So everyone is working towards that. But like I said, I think it's more allowing the open market forces to play and for people to develop what works for them. And then we will definitely see things slowly folding together. Because what usually happens is, if it's just like a socket, if I keep adding an extension to an extension to an extension, somebody will start crying fall. Preferably the one who come show. They will start saying it's not, it's shaky. So what does it force everyone to do in the chain? To start thinking, where am I connected to? Where am I connected to? So that's basically what's already starting.
Okay. So as we wrap up, what would you like to see in this sector in the next, say, 5-10 years? What's the big dream for Alice? Not even the association, for Alice.
I would love to see people going to work on electric mobility.
Okay.
And a decongested city.
Mm-hmm.
So people using the BRT hopefully will be set up. So you can take your electric train to work. And then once you get to work, you can, I don't know, bike there or motorbike there. So that it's not just like it's a cleaner city. Yeah, cleaner and quieter because they're really quiet. Yeah, clean, quiet, and a happy city.
Okay.
With more EVs on the road for sure.
Okay. Fantastic. That's a beautiful dream to have. I'm seeing it in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you.
Karibu. And thank you so much to our viewers for tuning in today. You've heard about the electric mobility. I might have gotten this wrong. No, the roundtable. The roundtable that's happening on 2nd October. Please register. The details shall be below. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode.